G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. I am so sure that these stories won't make us question our sanity today. Now with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chug a prawn to the Barbie, and let's get right into it. My girlfriend is being forced to marry someone that she doesn't want to. How do I help her? So I, 26 male, was dating this girl, M, 25 female. We had been dating for over a year, but she came from a very, very strict Indian family. She said she was lucky that they allowed her to work, and they would be extremely against her dating someone, that they wanted her to get married to a guy of their choice. We met at college, ended up at the same company. We had sex several times, which she said was a big no-no, so she wanted to keep it a secret, which I did. 8 months ago, out of the blue, I received a message from her. It said we were done, and she didn't want me to contact her again, and we hadn't had a fight. In fact, we had a romantic dinner just the night before, and yet I got this message. I called her several times, sent her texts and everything. I even planned to go to her house to talk to her, but decided against it due to her family. I even tried calling some friends of hers, but they just said that she had ghosted them too. I was heartbroken, and after 2 months, I decided to get back out there, but just couldn't find someone with that same spark. I had basically given up on dating, and I started focusing on my career, and I recently even landed a very high-paying job. I was happy, yet lonely. 3 days ago, I got a message from one of her friends. She said M was at her place and had been there for nearly a week, and she was asking to meet me. I was hesitant and asked her if she was playing a cruel joke on me after the way that we broke up, to which the friend broke down crying to my surprise, and she said that she couldn't explain over the phone. I went there, and sure enough, M was sitting there. She looked thinner and a bit paler and very, very sad. She saw me, started crying, and hugged me, and then we sat down to talk. She said that her family had seen us together, and when she went home that night, she was yelled at. She lives in a big joint family, so her parents, grandmum, 3 uncles and aunts, and about 13 cousins live under the same roof. She said they took away her phone, prevented her from going to work or contacting anyone. They said they had pressured her into telling them how far our relationship had gone, and when it was revealed that she wasn't a virgin, her family went berserk. They then shifted her to their rural village and arranged her marriage with a family friend who was 60 to 65 years old, and when she tried to refuse, they threatened to kill her. She said she played along for a month, and that a week or so ago, the marriage date was decided to be in September. She said she told her family she wanted to spend time with her to-be husband and managed to slip away, after which she took a train to get back here. I had shifted to a bigger house and wasn't on any social media, so she didn't know where I was and went to her friend. She stayed there for a few days, resting and crying, worried her family would find her before asking to meet me. I have no idea what to do here and how to proceed. I love her and I'm willing to be there for her, but I have absolutely no idea how. What legal steps can we take? And now in the comments, she is legally an adult, and technically they can't do anything to get her back. I would say make sure that your home has security cameras around in case they come to your home. See if she can file for a restraining order as well. I'm not sure about the aid available where you are or the legal rights the state gives, but here in the US, there is a bunch of organizations to help with battered and abused women. I'm certain if you look in India, you'll find groups who can help you protect your girlfriend. These groups know the local laws and how willing the police are in protecting women who are in danger. Reddit is a big place. Search here for a group or subreddit with the information you two need, and do an online search as well. You may also want to take some extra steps in securing yourself. Stay dark on social media, remove some of the details you just posted here, and don't be out in public in this community without disguising yourselves. The family might be capable of doing anything. And OP replies, "Thank you so much. We're actually discussing a court marriage between the two of us if necessary, and I'll definitely look into some organizations." And now, onto the update. So, a while ago, I had made a post here asking for help because my girlfriend was being forced to marry someone that she didn't want to. This is the update to that. We got married. We married in Arya Samaj Mandir, which is just a way of saying we got married the fastest way possible legally. We got the marriage certificate and made the legal adjustments, changing details on passport, Aadhaar card, etc. She's seeing a therapist now and is mentally better. Isn't that scared now? Her family did find out and did try to lodge a case that I was holding her against her will or that she had been brainwashed by me. But an affidavit, thanks to a user's fantastic advice, disproved all of that. Her brother did send me some threats, and her dad actually tried to enter my house, but in the end, they had no choice but to accept it and left to go to their hometown. My wife and I blocked them on everything, and we haven't had any contact from them for a while now, so we don't think there'll be a problem anymore. Now that all the legal craziness and family drama has been dealt with, we're going to start adjusting as husband and wife. We're planning a proper wedding celebration with all our friends, who are basically our family. We will also go on a honeymoon soon. I'm glad things worked out as well as they could for us, and I'm going to look forward to spending the rest of my life with a fantastic woman. And now in the comments, you need to move. They know your address and they have connections with local law enforcement. Congratulations on the wedding, and stay vigilant. OP replies, moving isn't an option right now, but my place has security cameras, and I had previously hired a security company whose guards are still there. Can someone explain the affidavit part? OP says, it's a legal document signed by my wife that says that she married me on her own will, and I didn't force her to marry me in any way. We made this document just before our marriage on someone's advice in case her family tried something. They tried to declare that I had kidnapped and brainwashed her and that they were here to take her back. But when we produced a document which said that she had married me of her own free will and had not been coerced in any way, the case was thrown out. Getting married was probably the only way to truly protect her, short of moving halfway across the world. May they have a happy marriage. It might not even protect her. I've read stories of women marrying a man their family did not approve of. The family claim after some time that they have come around and then end up killing her. They have to stay away from her family forever. Yep, they've already threatened to kill her and they have connections in local law enforcement. They need to get out of that area or country ASAP because that family isn't done. Agreed. Here in Australia, there's a case at the moment. 2 sisters from Saudi Arabia here since 2017, seeking asylum based on sexual orientation and religious grounds, found dead in their apartment. They had been dead for a while when found, so no cause of death as of yet. They had reported they thought that they were being followed by a private investigator at one point, and had appeared quite afraid in interactions with people. It's a mystery at the moment, but honor killing did cross my mind. There was a man here in Texas that was just convicted of murdering his 2 daughters on a New Year's Day back in 2008 because he didn't like the way they were acting and felt they were too westernized. His family hid him for the entire time. Honor killings happen everywhere. OP here, I'm seeing all the comments telling her to move and we are not safe. I agree, but moving will take some time and we're here for the time being. I have put precautions in place though. My house has cameras, alarms, and motion sensors, and I've hired watchmen and guards to patrol the place 24/7 in shifts, so we're constantly protected. As for their connections in the police, they have connections. I have money, so I'm not too worried about that either. Thank you to everyone concerned for our well-being and for the well wishes in moving forward. Our next post is titled, I was an accident, and after years of negligence, I told my family I wished they had aborted me or given me up for adoption. I was basically an accident. When I was born, my siblings were 16 male, 18 female, 20 female, 23 female, and my parents were both 46. I was never abused in my childhood, but I was neglected, and my entire family resented me. My parents didn't really think that they would get pregnant again, but here we are. I was never really looked after for by anyone, and basically had to raise myself. No one ever really spent any time with me or played with me or anything when I was a kid. They didn't ever buy anything significant for me, just handed my siblings clothes and things. I realized this as I got older, so I focused on myself. My thought process at the time was that there was something wrong with me because my siblings were loved by them. So if I improved myself and did things for them, maybe then they would accept me and love me. So I always got the best grades in school. My father was a football enthusiast and played in high school, but I was a basketball lover. But I still dropped it and took up football just to make him proud. I made sure that I did all of my chores readily, always kept my room clean, but nothing I did was ever enough for them. Like for example, if I was first in class, my parents would ask me why didn't I get a higher score. They ignored the percentile but focused on the percentage, and things like that. My siblings or parents never even bothered to show up for a single game. I was never appreciated for what I was, they only detested me for what I wasn't. My siblings also did not allow me to hang out with them at any time at all. We celebrated my father's birthday yesterday. I am 16 today. My siblings do not live with us anymore, and my mother had to leave early and would not return until later in the evening. So it was just me and him for the day. So I decided to serve him breakfast in bed just as he woke up. I cooked, and I bought him a tie for a present. I know it's not the best present, but I was on a budget. Nothing too extravagant, because I want to save as much money as possible for college, but it was definitely a smart one. I also cooked lunch for us and took care of all the chores. The most he could come up with was a pathetic thank you, and it was clear that he wanted me to leave him alone, so I did just that. We all went out, siblings included, to a dinner, and the way these would go is that they would all have a good time, and I would just sit in the corner. This is the case with almost all family dinners that we have ever attended. We went back home, and I don't know why. I really don't know what triggered it, but for some reason, I just started crying all of a sudden. Maybe it was them being so happy together, I don't know. And when they asked me what happened, I just blew up at them and told them how I felt about my entire childhood, how they never showed me any kind of love and affection, among other things. I don't know exactly what I said, but I do remember I ended it by saying that I wished that they had aborted me if they hate me so much, or could have given me up for adoption so they could all live their lives without me. My eldest sister started to say something, but I just ran up to my room and closed the door and went to sleep listening to some Hans Zimmer because they just kept knocking at the door. Early this morning, I went out my window and went to a scheduled spot that I often go to. Usually to play some guitar or pace around listening to music, or just enjoying the sound of nature. I'm sitting down here right now writing this on my phone at 4:30 AM, and I don't know what to do at all. I'm sorry if I just went out on a rant, but this is the first time that I'm able to tell my childhood to anyone. Now, how exactly do I tackle this problem? I've pretty much given up on my family now, and have spent the entirety of my time trying to please them. Do I still try to form any kind of bond with them? Do I completely drop them off? What exactly is the best thing to do here? And now in the comments, wow, this actually got me emotional. I can't imagine your pain. You were doing great in school and will soon be going to college. Do you think you can hold it together until then? Once you move out to college, you are your own man. Since you told them how you feel, they'll try to make you feel better. If it feels genuine to you, go with it. If not, keep strong. Hold to yourself and keep going. Your life is worth living. You have great potential and you will excel. Try to focus on all that you want to accomplish in life now that you are done trying to please your family. Life gets so much better in college. You may even find that you make friends that become like family. Try to live on campus your first year. Being away will give you and your family time to process, and it may even heal your relationship with them. You will no longer rely on them and will be able to forge your own path. Start living for yourself and take back your confidence. Rejoin basketball, get excited about college by ordering the catalogs, and envisioning where you might want to live and study. You can shadow careers, which I recommend doing ASAP. I can't tell you how many times I changed my major, or how many people, including myself, weren't a fan of the day-to-day job and wish that they had chosen something else. Focus on the future because I don't think your family can make up for 16 years, but I've also found that family gets closer when you move out. In my situation personally, that is true. Distance does in fact make the heart grow fonder. OP replies, "Thank you. And I have got a major in mind and have already started applying for colleges. I just hope that I can find a decent scholarship because I don't really want to depend on my parents' money. You know, I'm kind of in a similar boat as you are. I was a very normal child. My parents would say that I was a nice, uncomplicated kid. It took me 21 years to realize that I was constantly emotionally neglected. I had problems with self-harm and interpersonal troubles with my friends, and I could never explain why until recently. I resent my older siblings for having such a strong bond with each other, and I resent my younger brother for getting taken care of by everyone in the family. He's 3 years younger than me and has Down syndrome, which is one of the reasons my parents neglected my emotional needs. They didn't even realize it. Realizing what is actually going wrong is, in my opinion, the biggest step in this entire ordeal. Now you're in the situation where you have to work out what to do with that realization. I would say, don't hide from your family. Listen to what they have to say. Chances are, they don't even realize what they did to you, just like my family. If I talked to them about it, they would feel heartbroken that they did that to me without even noticing. They know about my self-harm, but my mum was emotionally neglected by her parents much more than I was, so she just passed it on to me without realizing how wrong her perception of proper parenting was. So, please talk to your family. I think it would be best to talk to them individually, since, in bigger groups, people tend to get talked over when they don't all have the same thoughts on the matter. Please don't cut ties just yet. I agree, this is the best advice. As they say, what we don't say, we act out. It's very likely their resentment and subsequent treatment of him is completely subconscious. His outburst had made them aware of it. He needs to give them a chance to respond. And now, onto the update. First of all, I want to thank everyone for the amount of support that you guys have given. It was really overwhelming, and I can't express in words how much that meant to me. I was reading all the comments and everything till about 11 to 12, then decided to go home to face the family. I arrived home to quite a melancholic environment. As soon as I arrived, the first thing they all did was hug me, which honestly surprised me. This was probably the first time in years they were showing me any kind of affection. They had prepared some food for me, and after I ate, we had all had a talk. My oldest nephew, 2 years younger than me, who often reads posts from this sub, saw it and showed it to my sister. They all first of all apologized for the way they treated me. They confirmed that I was an accident and none of them wanted to deal with another baby, and I basically screwed up their life plans. They didn't word it this way. They didn't really want to do anything with me, so they just started ignoring me because I never seemed to need anything from them. Their reasoning was that I was always doing great in life. I always did my chores on time, kept my things neat and clean as a kid, always got good grades, never complained about anything, did great in sports, and they just assumed that I never required or wanted anything from them. So they were able to just keep ignoring me and pretend as if I wasn't there, basically. They said that this didn't justify their behavior, especially after they read the post. They just wanted to explain their own actions. I just made it easy for them to ignore me. They all asked me to forgive them for alienating me, and they said they would do their best from now on to make me feel as I was a part of the family. They then wanted to go out and celebrate my birthday, but I was just mentally and physically exhausted, so I just went to sleep, woke up in the evening, and just ended up playing games for the rest of the night, and then went back to sleep. I don't really know how to feel about this. I thought about it long and hard, and I decided that I'll try to form some kind of bond with them, if that's even possible. The one thing I will do is trying to start to work and live for just myself right now. My priority is getting to college right now, and I'll mainly work towards that. If reconciliation doesn't work out, at least I have a goal and purpose in life to work towards until I get away from here. Thanks so much for helping me and supporting me through all of this. If you guys have any further questions, just feel free to ask me, and once again, thank you. And now in the comments, I just wanted to send you a huge, fierce mum hug. You sound like an incredible and resilient person, and I hope you see your worth. You deserve better. I know that you will achieve amazing things. Warmest thoughts and wishes. I think perhaps the most upsetting thing is that your nephew is 2 years younger than you. Being uncomfortable with a much younger sibling is one thing. I have friends in their 20s who have siblings in their 50s, but that sibling could have had you grow up with your nephew. You are only 2 years apart. That age barrier is not there. Your 16-year-old sibling should have still been a good sibling. I'm upset that they asked for immediate forgiveness. They neglected you for your entire life, and now that they know, they feel bad and want to move past it? They should feel bad. But this is something that has weighed on you for your entire life, and based on your interpretation of events, it still does. They need to realize that this is not an easy road. They forsook you, and now they want you to trust and believe in them. I'm not saying cut them out, but don't give in to that. Make them earn it. Make them understand you. Reading a single Reddit post does not mean that they know your feelings. It means they have scratched the surface. Focus on yourself and getting into college. I wasn't there for your first post, so I just want to say that I'm really sorry for how things have gone for the first 16 years of your life. No child should ever be put in your situation. With them at least admitting their faults, I would heavily suggest you push them to get you individual, and if you're comfortable, family therapy. Quick rant on one of their comments, partially because I'm angry for you from the first post, and partially due to its audacity. I just want to comment, however, that I really dislike that they gave any sort of reasoning for their behavior past "we were selfish and acted selfishly," especially when it puts a little bit of the blame on you. You were just easy to ignore. That is not true, no matter how they try and justify it. It doesn't matter how much maintenance you require, a child who is fairly independent and self-sufficient will still get all the love and positive attention that they need in a healthy family. The virtue of being your parent should have gotten you the love and attention that you required. You repeatedly tried to get their attention in a positive way that shouldn't have been needed. You put effort into learning your father's interests, made their birthday special, and many more acts, I'm sure, with no reciprocal acts. It is their own selfishness, and only their selfishness, that denies or did deny you. Please do not take their reasoning comments to heart. What probably ended up happening was your family had a hard look at themselves and thought, "Holy crap, how did we let it get this bad?" But because they probably don't think that they're that bad a person to neglect a child for 16 years, they went with, "Well, if they truly ever needed help, we would have given it to them." It is rude to say that they would have done differently if you had acted differently. It shifts the blame from their unacceptable actions to your behavior that you did or didn't do. End of rant. Preach. Of course they blame it all on you. They're still being selfish, and not just rude, but so callous. A teen who is remarkably in touch with his feelings finally pours his heart out to them, and all they can do is victim blame. And what if OP hadn't been the perfect child? I shudder to think of how he would have been treated because their love isn't even conditional. Yikes. OP, they didn't ignore you because you were fine on your own. You're fine on your own because they ignored you. Look, it's awesome if they're making a real effort, but I would take everything with a grain of salt and remain guarded. The fact it took your nephew showing them your post to actually react, and not you saying you wished you were aborted or adopted, makes me really hesitant. Also, what's your relationship with your nephew/other nieces and nephews? Have they picked up on the adult's behavior, or do you get along? How did they know that the post was yours? And OP replies, "My relationship with nieces and nephews is alright. Nothing special really. They probably found out by when I mentioned the adoption/abortion part. The oldest was supposed to be asleep, but overheard me." Again, I would be guarded knowing that. They completely let that comment go with no real effort to reassure you, but now that you're asking for advice online, they care? Maybe I'm just being pessimistic, but I wouldn't 100% trust them. And that's where I'm going to end this one today, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought about it down below, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.